I'll call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order. Today is October 22nd, and we'll get started. We have a light agenda. We'll start with our purchasing agenda. Ms. Cripps.
I was going to say, if I can get it to there, we forwarded. Okay, so to start through purchasing agenda, as we go through, there's some new things and some continuation of things that we've been doing for several years. So the first one under instructional supplies and services for our Creatives Arts Academy, we've worked with PT Arts for a number of years, so this is renewal of their contract for this year. Under support materials and services, we had previously asked in September for approval to purchase a cargo van, but as we started to actually scope everything out, we needed to add a loading ramp and some height to it, so there's additional costs, so bringing that back for the increase on that. Item number 2, we're looking for equipment and installation of surveillance camera systems for Sibley and C.A. Frost Elementary. That will be using one of our security grant funding. Basin Electric is item number 3. When we did our original blanket orders back in June, we were thinking we would look to add some other additional electricians on it, so we had set the scope smaller on Basin. We haven't gone out and looked for additional electricians at this point, but the need is there, so asking to increase the blanket order for Basin Electric. We did go out for a bid on the snow removal services for a 3-year bid. We have 3 contractors that have gotten bids on various buildings in the district. Under support materials, we have our agreement with Cherry Street Health Centers for 24-25. This is an ongoing agreement that we've had for many years. We have the contract for Grand Rapids Christian Schools as part of our Title I and Title IV grants with FACS Educational Solutions. That's one out of our Title I and Title IV. We're required to allocate a portion of our funds to the private schools, and Grand Rapids Christian elects to work with this FACS Education Solutions. Under building and sites, we have a grant to work on some health centers so that we're getting work started with the Harrison Park Health Clinic, looking to work with McGraw Construction on that. And we had a repair that needed to be done with Ottawa Hills High School on their chiller, so looking to use Andy Egan for that part and materials. Under bond projects, we are looking to do the Phase 2 contract for Coit, looking to increase that with Triangle, and the work categories include HVAC, lighting upgrades, interior finishes upgrades, and exterior masonry restoration for $3.1 million. The contract for the renovation of Sigsbee School for facilities, again, it's got several items in there, including the HVAC, the lighting, new larger windows for the classrooms, and the parking lot improvements. And that one would be a little over $5.8 million, again with Triangle. And the last one is for the hazardous abatement at Sigsbee. I'm looking to do that. So our construction projects are underway.
Very much so. Remind me with Harrison Park, is that an existing health clinic or is that new to
It
Harrison
will be
Park?
a new health clinic.
Okay, great. Yeah, wonderful.
My only question, can you tell me more about the Basin piece? It sounded like you said that initially we were looking to hire other people and.
That's what I was going to say. Alex, do you want to come down and talk about Basin? Yes.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, for me, it's just sort of a, I won't say a pet peeve, but it always gets my attention when we just increase our blanket orders, and there's a part of me that, I don't know, and not in this case in particular, but I'm just letting you know why I asked the question, because I'm just over the years, it just seems like we I don't know, maybe it's the conspiracy theorist in me and think that people give us estimates or something, and then they wait later in the year and just charge us more or something. It could just be me, but either way, I'm curious.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. To first address what the comment that you just made, based on based on electric, they only come out when we call them. So they only provide the services when we need them to. But since we don't have any electricians in-house, that's pretty much every day. So we're still working on the same established cost that they gave us a while back. It's just that we are just calling them that often. When it comes to our plan is to go out and do a request for proposals. We would like to actually hire multiple companies. We are exploring actually having one per quadrant, if at all possible, so that way it's not all in one company. So we're still working on that. I do apologize, we're a little bit behind, but you're gonna see that soon.
Roger. All right, thank you.
Any other questions about the purchasing agenda?
Motion to approve the purchasing agenda.
Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. On to, no donations today, so on to our reports.
That's what I was going to say, and the financial statements are there, so if anybody has any questions, if not, we'll just move forward. So just a couple things I wanted to bring to light. Last month, we did talk about the legislature had passed a couple bills, and the governor has now signed them. So it does make the MIPSTERS rate reduction that in the original State Aid Act was only a 1-year reduction, so that rate reduction is now made permanent, so that will be helpful. Going forward, also the 3% that employees that elected health insurance back when they retire back in 2012, if they made that election to carry health insurance, that elimination of that 3% contribution there is now going to be effective October 1st, 2025. So as a group, we're still struggling a little bit. The legislature in the School Aid Act had a 3% reimbursement for those employees for 24-25. MDE and ORS are still working through details of what that might look like. Today at KSBO, our Kent County School Business officials meet once a month, so we were talking about it there. ORS has put out, it's not going to be November. They thought maybe they'd give us information in December, but now they've also put out, it might be February. So this is one of those things we're just going to have to stay patient on. Once we find out how much we're going to get as a district, then we'll work on allocating it out to the appropriate employees. You know, what we get in, we will turn back to employees. We just don't know when it's coming or how much it's going to be yet. So just stay patient. As soon as we know stuff, we will share it. But right now, there's just a lot more questions than there are answers on that 3% reimbursement.
And quick question on that.
Yep.
That 3%, that's just for the 2024 calendar year, or I'm assuming what?
It will be like employees that elected back then, so not all of our employees elected to keep health insurance, and it will be on payments that they're making this year, so 24-25 payments.
Okay, 24, 25, okay.
Yeah. And
They'll
so,
get reimbursed on,
right,
but that reimbursement will be taxable. Is that still?
Correct.
Yeah, so they won't be fully reimbursed. Yeah, okay.
so just a lot of unknowns there, but the other one that was good news is when they did the original state aid reduction, our 31AA, the mental health and safety funding, was cut from over 300 million down to 25 million. They did reinstate 125 million there. So that is very good news. Will help us to maintain funding for our mental health clinicians and therapists. I think that's all I had on state aid type updates. One other update for you. Every year, the state puts out a new threshold for purchasing and competitive bids and all of that. So the new amount is $30,512. So it will be items over that will be what we start bringing forward to the board for approval. Your board policy references
Whatever the law is.
whatever the,
Yeah, great. What was it before? Do you remember?
They usually have
27?
It's 20, it was 29 something.
Oh, okay. We're both wrong.
Oh, yep, I just found
Okay.
it, yep. And
All right. Well done. You win trivia.
definitely a trivia question.
Excellent.
So those are the things that I had
Okay,
for today.
that's all right. A short meeting is just fine. So thanks, everybody, for being here. We have nothing else on the agenda, so this meeting is adjourned.